Welcome to boat ownership. There is never a dull moment. Mike is driving from the lower helm today because the hydraulic lines for the upper steering started to leak and then he can't steer from the flybridge. So this video will be very technical, watching Mike go through the process of repairing them.
Row, row, row your boat gently down.
Alright, 3/4 inch socket. Oh, that's loose. That was easy. Guess I didn't even need a socket. Now, get the steering wheel off. There she goes. Take out the little keyway. Looks like it's a 5/8 wrench. And get the end one first there. And these are already marked. Green on the starboard side and red on the port side. Just gonna leave all three of those hanging here like that. I should probably turn the steering a little. See if I can get any fluid out of it. No, looks like most of it's already out. Now, that's what we have so far. Could spray a little WD-40 on the back side, but it's turning now. And that's pretty easy. We're hold on to the back side, it's about ready to fall off. And there you have it, it's out. Alright, I've taken the 4 bolts loose. Got a little pan here to put my parts in. Let's see, first take the bolts out. I'm going to gently pry up on this. Just work it back and forth. I don't want to stick my screwdriver in there and nick that at all, so see if it will come out now. Keep working it back and forth. There it goes. All right. There's the end piece there. I'm going to gently pull this up because there are bearings behind there. Don't want to lose the bearings. Just pushing up on the shaft there. And all the bearings stay down the bottom. This piece here, don't want those pistons falling out either. These will come out, they're just sitting in there. Make sure all those move up and down nice and easy. And they do. Let's put this off to the side. Got a little pin in here to take out. Slides back and forth. And the shaft has a little bit of wear there. There's a couple little grooves right there. So I have to smooth those down before I put it back together. Let's see if I can get this piece out. See that there. bearings. I don't want to drop all those ball bearings. See if I can gently push on it from this side. Yeah, that's got to come out of there. See if this bar will work on that. Oh, there it goes. All right. Pull that out. And there's another set down in there. I have one pin right there, so I will line it up with that pin when I put it back together. A bunch of shims in there. Thrust bearing. And pull that out. Make sure I put all that together the same way. Set that aside. And oh, there's part of my seal right there. Actually, that's just a wiper. That's all that part is. The seal is right behind it. See if I can gently knock that out of there.
Unfortunately, the video cut out shortly after this, and Mike wasn't able to show the whole process of replacing the seal and putting that steering unit back together. But we found a good video that shows the whole process. We have a link in the description below, so check it out if you need to understand how to do this part.
Alright, I'm putting the helm hydraulic steering back together. So I have the panel off right there, or loose, so I could get down in here. Refrigerator is right there. Some oil absorbent rags. Got these marked, so I know which way the hoses go. I'm gonna go through this opening right here, right through there. Now, take my rebuilt unit, stick it in the hole. Now make sure you mark it and orient it the same way. You want mark it up, put it in the same direction. You don't want to put it backwards because then your steering will be backwards. Alright, and then there's 4 screws to put in there. Oh, there's a ring that goes on here too. Right here, there's a ring that goes around the outside. That around there. And then all it has is 4 of these screws here to put in. And that's all that holds it in place. Line that up with the screw. There it goes. And this is what's going on from the outside. Start these 4 screws. Make sure it's centered. And you tighten all these up. Now they're all tight. I can grab a wrench and tighten up hook up the connections in there. Got oil absorbent pad here, which I'm going to remove. Hopefully it doesn't leak anymore. I marked this one supply line. That one's the center one. Let's get it started. Starboard side. And port side. Try to tighten as much as you can by hand. These things don't have to be real tight, just down snug. I think somebody before me tightened these down a little too tight, so the end of the nut is flared out a little bit. So it makes it a little hard to put this back together. So wrench does not quite fit on that one. And I probably should have started with this one first. Might have been easier than put the rest of the lines on as I went, since there's not a whole lot of room and this is a big wrench that doesn't want to fit over the end. And yeah, this one's flared out too, so I can't put the wrench on the very end of the nut. These are just brass nuts, so it doesn't take much to deform them. Okay, now I need to put oil in the system and bleed it. So what I'm going to do is, there is a couple T's right there. So these ones go to this one. Those ones go back to the canister at the back of the boat. Those T's, those go up to the bridge up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pressurize a canister, and I'm going to go up on the bridge, take the center one loose, and bleed all the air out of it that I can. And I think that will probably be good enough to also take care of this one down here without having to, I don't want to crack a line open down here, because it's going to go all over the back of the refrigerator and seep out onto the carpet down here. Just don't want that. So I do need to put this back on, so I will put, there is a keyway that goes in here, kind of on the back side there, and then the steering wheel can go on there. See if I can line that up. And there is a, I'm going to wiggle it around a little bit. Alright, there's a nut that goes on there. And that is a 3/4 inch nut. I'm just going to hold on to this, tighten it up. Just like that. Plastic cap that goes on here. Somehow. Oh, there's a set screw in there. Okay. I just pulled it off. So the same thing with the one upstairs. There you go. Well, there's a set screw in the side of it there, but they just, I don't know, they slid off for me. Alright, should turn free. Now, I'm going to put some oil in it. So come back here. What I'm going to use is original stuff, the Mill H5606. Got this on Amazon. It was fairly cheap, a lot cheaper than going to a marine store. Crescent wrench, shop towels, and a bicycle pump. And let's see, a funnel, so don't make a mess. Alright, it says canister here, is what I'm talking about. There is a, let's pump it full of air, but first we need to put fluid in there. So I am going to remove that nut there and then fill this thing up. Like I could probably change this pressure gauge out. Doesn't look like it's in too good a shape, but it will do for the moment. That's the red fluid, so it is easy to tell, you know, where you spilled it. And a very full can. Oh, that was way too much. Does not take very much. You really ideally want it 3/4 full, so then you can fill the rest with air. I have it a little too full. There's some debris right there. I don't want that going in there. It's a little hard to do by myself too. Ideally, if you have 2 people, you can have somebody back here pressurizing this and then somebody up there opening up the line. I'm gonna use a little bicycle pump. This thing says 50 psi max, 200 psi burst, 500 psi relief setting, which doesn't make any sense if it bursts at 200. I'm going to go up to 50. Just when I'm running, I'm going to be running about 10, but this will make it easier for bleeding. Alright, now we're going to go upstairs. I'm going to take this bucket here and 5/8 and a couple rags.
You having fun yet?
Oh yeah, part of boating, I guess, huh? Make sure I don't have any leaks in here. That one's a little wet, so I'm going to wipe it off. There's one fitting on the end there. I'll make sure they're all very dry. I'm not going to turn that steering yet. I just want to do the one upstairs first. I'm going to take this center one loose. That's the supply line. Let it drip. And I really want to flush the system anyway, so that is running right down the line. All I need to do is tie something on there so it doesn't just run down the line. And you hear all that air coming out of there? I had to tie a rag around the line because all the oil's just running down the line and it would have made a mess. Boat's rocking back and forth, that's why it's stopping and starting. I don't really want to turn this and get air into the cylinders, so I'm not moving anything, I'm just letting it bleed out. So far it's not a lot of fluid. It's about a 1/4 cup so far. See down if there's somebody down below, they can be monitoring the oil level and checking the pressure. Looks like I probably have, geez, out of all that, probably 1/3 of a cup or so. I'll probably open her up a little more if I want. Alright, I'm going to tighten this up and I'm going to check it down there. Alright. Yep, I need more fluid. And I'm pumped it up to 40 psi this time. Looks like I might have gotten air out of it. But I do want to flush out some of this old oil, so I will let it go till I think it's down to the low level. If I run it out of oil down there, then I have to start all over with this process. I don't want to do that. That should do it. And of course, it did make a little bit of a mess. Alright, so I'm going to go check my oil, and then I will turn the steering wheels and see where we're at. That's what came out of there. Yeah, the reservoir does not hold very much oil, so can't flush too much out of it. I'm still reading 35, and our oil level looks like it's between the upper and the lower, which is good. That means I don't have to put any more in. I'm just going to turn the steering back and forth until that moves right there. Let's see what happens. Just going to turn the lower steering. Alright, that is the lower one is working now. Took a few turns to get to start pumping oil. You can hear the air in there, but it'll work its way out. And it'll eventually work its way back to the cylinder, to the tank here. I'm gonna do the upper one, and then I will recheck my oil. I'll put my oil level about in there, and then I will probably charge it to about 10 psi, since that seemed to be working good for me. And that's all. Alright, now the lower helm, all the air bled out of that fine. The upper one, the steering wheel just spinning and spinning and spinning. So it's got an air pocket in there. So what I'm going to do is crack open the starboard and port lines, or just one of them, just get some air out of there, get some oil flowing through there. Oh, and I better tie a rag on there, or it's gonna make a big mess. So I'll do this one here since it's right next to me. I want is a spot for the oil to drip down. So I made this piece here, it just drips down onto that, and then in my pan. Okay. That shouldn't take much. I got about 45 psi, so there's the air. I'm going to turn the steering now. I can hear the oil going through it now. There's oil dripping right on down, making a mess again. I don't want the oil to foam, so I will just wait a minute. Oh yeah, it's definitely going through the line now. Might be, I'm gonna tighten this up and see if the steering, if it starts pumping oil and turning the rudder. like it's pumping oil now, because I couldn't hear any of that before, so. Oh, that's a big swell. Now I'll see how it goes. Can hear the oil in there this time. It might be foaming up a little bit. Getting a little harder to turn. And it's getting tired. I have to bleed the other line too. Just turning the steering wheel very slowly. Alright, I'm gonna tighten this up. Alright, well it's still not pumping like it should. Take the center one loose too. I just want to see it. Make sure there's no air left in it. The center one looks good. There's still air in the system though. Looks like there's a whole lot of air in that one. Oh, it is foamy. A little bit of foam in that one. What a mess. Now it's looking clear. Tighten that back up. I'm feeling a little resistance now. Just turning the steering very slowly. There's some more air. Okay, so what I had to do was I bled the center one first, and then I cracked open the left one here. The tape is wrong here. Somebody else put that tape on here. It's the left one here. Cracked that fitting open. Cranked the steering to the left, I believe. And you'll see a bunch of air and oil come out. And you just keep going until it stops. Until the steering wheel gets hard. Tighten the nut down. And then crack open the nut on the opposite side here, and you'll turn the steering wheel the opposite direction. Just keep turning it until it starts getting hard and you start seeing clear fluid. So I'm gonna try this one more time. Let's make sure I got all the air out of here. I believe, let's see, left side, so I need to be turning left, I believe. And that's the way it is, yeah. So nice clear fluid, it's not spraying a foam out. So I'll tighten that down. And it goes up against the steering, stops, the rudder's full over. Now I'm going to turn it to the right and do the same process. This where it's easier if you have two people, because you can have somebody just spin the steering wheel while you're down here adjusting that. And you go all the way till the rudder hits the other stop. And there it is. And I'm going to open this up more. You don't want to force it too much. You're just trying to Put a little bit of pressure on it so you can pump some fluid through there, and that's a nice clean fluid coming out of there now. So I'm going to tighten it down with it under pressure while I'm still cranking on the steering wheel. And that is it. It's quite a mess. It's like bleeding brakes, sort of. Just gotta get the fluid, just gotta get some flow through there. Now my steering wheel actually stops. Before it was just spinning around doing nothing. It's really hard to get the air out of this with the angle that this steering's at. The lower one's at a horizontal position, so I'm guessing that's what makes that one a little easier too. So it's up against the stop, and I think any other little bit of air that's left in there should work its way out.
And it did. That steering is working great. We're happy to be back on the water. Thanks, Mike, for doing an excellent job and for showing us in detail exactly how to fix this problem. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.